My name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. I'm trying something different as I have an underdog. It may not be an underdog as far as people may not know. I know in the ECC they know who this young man I have in front of me, who I'll be introducing in a second. But the state of Connecticut does not know who he is, and I think they need to know. And the person I'm talking about is a senior catcher from NFA, Coach T, Coach Turgeon from the NFA baseball head coach just recommended that I have him on. So I was like, you know what? He's an underdog. Let's get him on. Ryan Deshefy, thanks so much for being able to come on, man.
It's nice meeting you. It's great to be here, and I just love working hard and love working with my team. You know,
Well, before we get into what you have done this season, I kind of want to know I want to know the backstory. Kind of how did you find the game of baseball? How did that come about?
it's mainly from my father because he played at Avery Point too, and he played for the University of Hartford, and he's been a big inspiration throughout my entire life. Being my coach when I was younger, and he's always pushing me to work hard and be my best self.
Mhm.
And I've found that very important. I've lived by his morals, which have helped me become a great baseball player.
That's got to be killing them. I know you just mentioned the University of Hartford with them moving to Division 3. I'm sure he must have talked to you, or he must have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, I know him and another alum from University of Hartford, who's my teacher, Jeff Joyce. They were they were kind of upset about it because University of Hartford it's a great school, and it's unfortunate what they're doing to the athletes, and it's tough seeing all of them just go through that heartbreak.
It's really tough, and I feel awful for the athletes. It's strange because I know we're getting off topic, but because it's the University of Hartford and it being in
Mm.
Connecticut and such, and because your father went there, it's strange because they were on the peak as far as I know. UConn is UConn, but when you think of college basketball and March Madness, a lot of people think of UConn before they think of anybody else. And Hartford, what Coach Gallagher was able to do with 5 minutes of the fame that they had, they could have really have maximized that and maybe had sustained success. But it just seems like that didn't matter. I almost feel like their decision was made even before they made the tournament.
That's true. I know. Yeah, the basketball team worked very hard to get up there, and it's really tough for all the athletes that want to play and want to work hard and be part of the University of Hartford. But since I'm moving down, you know,
It's a damn
it's
shame, man.
unfortunate.
It's a shame. And
Yeah.
no disrespect to Division 3. I played Division 3 baseball,
Mm.
but when you think about going from Division 1 to Division 3, you think about the fact that Hartford, trying to go to a different conference because they're so big. The NESCAC, I can't see them because they're kind of like the baby, as far as the power academic schools, such like that. But it's going to be a very, very tumultuous next year, 2 years, I think, for Hartford and for years to come.
That's very true. Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Now, looking at you as far as kind of okay, so your dad played Avery Point, went to Hartford. So I'm assuming you watched him all the way through. I don't want to say watched him, but I'm sure if there's any video, if there's pictures, talking about the game and such. So, what position did he play? Was he a catcher as well?
He was a right fielder, and he's left-handed actually,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, but I kind of got introduced to catching when we had no one else, and it turned out I was pretty good at it because it just it does take athleticism nowadays to be a catcher, and yeah, he was a outfielder for right fielder for University of Hartford.
So, when did you switch positions to catching full time?
I'm still kind of two-way. I do play like short in third, but I would say more towards 13 or 14, I became fully a catcher, and I just worked hard on focusing on that. Even though I do play shortstop, catching is what I do really love.
I think it's good because I'm a big believer in playing multiple sports to expand your athletic ability. And I think the same thing goes for, within sports. Even if I understand once you get to college or the pros, you kind of have to stick to one position unless you're just an uber talented athlete, kind of like what Shohei Ohtani is doing in the majors, playing right field, pitching, DHing, first base, whatever. But I think for you to play short, play third base, I think only enhances your catching ability because A, you're not getting the wear and tear, so your body's staying fresh, but you're also keeping that short area quickness, the agile ability at short, third, kind of having that quick twitch. That kind of stuff can kind of help you with your catching as you progress in your career.
Yeah, it really does come in handy because, you know, as a shortstop or as a catcher, you gotta be quick, you gotta think fast. And I wouldn't call thinking fast. I'd say thinking before the play happens and then acting quick, because that's the name of the game. You have to think in order to
Mhm.
make the play. You got to be prepared for it.
Now, when you
But
were catching full time, and pardon for interrupting you. Now, as
mm,
far as the catching side, when you were when you were catching full time, was there any parts where you felt like came easy to you as far as the catching side?
I had a pretty good arm. I still do have a pretty good arm, and so that really helped me develop as a catcher. And my footwork came naturally from being a shortstop and a middle infielder, which also helped me develop. And I used to lack on blocking, but I've improved my game and I've figured out how to read pitchers and read where the ball's going to go, which has helped me develop as a baseball player and become a better catcher.
As I've gone through my ranks broadcasting and seeing various from high school to college and such, as far as from the catching side for baseball, I've been a big believer in the fact that I think it's hard to teach arm strength. I mean, if you have an arm, you have an arm. You can always get it up a little bit to maybe better than whatever the scouts from 20 to 80 say, but it's hard to get it. If you have it, we've seen Sanchez. The reason why Sanchez, at least at the time, was catching so much was because he had a God given arm, even though his blocking and receiving was subpar, but his arm kind of kept him there. So the question I have for you is, do you feel like the blocking, receiving, and such, and even the pitch framing, if you even do that, do you think that that kind of is a part of your game that your arm allowed you to work on and stay at the position because you need the reps?
Yes, my arm definitely helped me kind of capitalize in just as the catcher position, and it made me be more aware about just framing and being an overall better catcher. Because I know I've seen all the MLB catchers and what they do and how they do their business, and it's crazy to watch them block like 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. But I'm just working on the sliver of that, and just to be multi-versatile in blocking, receiving, and throwing, it helps me really become a better catcher.
As you moved through, as you were younger, all the way until right before high school, was catching something that you felt like was a position that, in your eyes, in your mind, in your heart, that you could be able to kind of carry with you as you entered high school?
Yeah, catching has all the action, as you know, and it's nice to be involved in every play. And I do like the feeling of not having control over everyone, but helping the game move along. And I'm able to, as a catcher, to help my teammates, to help them know where to throw the ball before it's hit. And it's nice to be a leader because I do enjoy helping my team win.
Well, the catcher's kind of in some ways like the second manager when you think about it, because you're on the field. I mean, think about the old time managers, Mike Scioscia, Bruce Bochy, Joe Girardi, who's with the Phillies,
Mhm.
catchers who became managers because they see the game. You're the only player that sees the entire field as far as from behind the plate. And it's a lot different than if you're seeing it. I understand you can make the case as far as in front of home plate, but behind it, there's different areas and such that we could talk about, but I digress. The question I have for you is, do you think because of that kind of, in some ways, with you being a leader, allowed you to grow into what you are now?
Yeah, I definitely did because it made me focus on the fine details of baseball, which not everyone sees. Like, not every ordinary person will focus on the number 5 hitter who just lined out to right, maybe give him a slider where he swings and whiffs. It's important just to focus on every little thing and every little batter. Like, I do enjoy scouting out the teams we're going to play before we play them, just to get a good look at what people's swings are like. How's that going to affect our defense? Just what to do before it actually happens.
So are you doing the Tom Brady where you sit there and just go rewind, watch, rewind? Like, are you just sitting there in your room in the dark, like Friday night, right before a game. It's just the TV and you, and you're just sitting there, rewind, go, rewind, just watching swings left and right. Is that you?
It's something like that. It's definitely a version of that. But yeah, I do love to be prepared, and I love to just be ready because you know what's coming, and the team that's the most ready is the team that's going to win.
It helps too because you have a head coach and Coach T that not only played high level baseball, but has such, and I've had him on before for people who may not know, he has such a plethora of knowledge when it comes to the game. And to me, just from the short time I talked to him, quiet guy, doesn't seem like he's, overly like fiery like a screamer. But I feel like when he wants to get his point across, or if he's trying to help a player like yourself with catching, I feel like when he talks, everybody, including yourself, if he's talking to somebody one on one, it's direct eye contact. The eyes are not going anywhere else.
Yeah, Turgeon's great with that, and he's great with really instructing, but not being really critical about it. And I've really appreciated that about his coaching style. And he's an overall one of my favorite coaches. I feel like because he just truly he tries to get you, and he tries to keep it like a one-on-one. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean he's the kind of guy. I mean this is I think what his technically his first year, correct? Because last
Yes.
year with COVID, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so he kind of had, he was chomping at the bit as much as you guys because he wanted to be a head coach, be a manager, kind of be a part of a program at NFA, Norwich Free Academy. And I think for him to be able to be along the ride with you guys, knowing what happened last year, and even in some ways leading up to the decision by the CIAC, there was a lot of questions because as we've seen with COVID, one day it's great, next day the world's going to end. We never know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's definitely been a struggle over the summer and fall just to make sure everyone's where they should be. And even though we had that year off and we didn't know who the team was going to be, it was nice to just try to stay in contact. And Turchin was very good at staying in contact with people and just making sure that we're ready and we know what's coming.
I want to get into the summer that was after the season being canceled, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now, you enter high school, you enter NFA, Norwich Free Academy. Were you a varsity player from day one, or did you have to climb the ladder and work? I mean, not saying you didn't work your butt off, but your talent allowed you to be on the varsity roster, and then you got the reps.
Yeah, my freshman year, I played JV and I worked in freshman too, but I was mostly JV. And my sophomore year, I played varsity and JV, but I got injured a few days before our first scrimmage in like my varsity scrimmage. So I was out for the first like 3 or 4 weeks, which was unfortunate, and it did kind of hinder the opportunities I had to be a starter. But yeah, after sophomore year, I missed my junior year because of COVID, and now we're just grinding, we're working hard.
So with the injury and with you basically losing, because when you think about it, I know you came back, but it's kind of like a lost season because, with the injury and I mean, what did you injure?
Yeah, I severely sprained my ankle and I couldn't walk on it for uh properly for at least 2 months. And then I actually did that right before this season, and I ended up being okay because I'm braced up still, but it's been a pain process to come back from the ankle injury because as a catcher I'm always on my feet. I got to be quick, I got to be ready, but it's been you got to work hard in order to come back from injuries, and that's
In a
what I plan to
bubble.
do.
We got to put
Huh?
you in a bubble.
I agree. Yeah.
So with the injury and such, what because at the time you didn't know that you were going to lose your junior season, but
Mm.
going into the sophomore summer before your junior fall, was there any was there any improvement from your side because you lost so much time compared to other players? I mean, did you play summer ball that year?
Yes, I did,
Okay.
and I almost had a point to prove, because I worked so hard as a sophomore and I didn't get what I really wanted out of my sophomore season. And I wanted to be the best me that I could be. And I felt like, going to the gym at 11 at night helped, and working out as a team helped. And just, like I've had great coaches, P. Kiefer, Dennis Long, Turgeon, Gabordi. They've all been so great to me, and they've all helped me improve easily.
Sounds like a law firm. All
Yeah,
those,
it does.
especially the last one with Turgeon. That sounds like the big honcho, the one that you go to at the end if you really need help.
Oh yeah,
You know what
he's
I
like
mean?
the head boss.
Oh, 100%. So the summer season, I'm assuming, went well for you with all the hard work, correct?
Yeah, I played kind of like it was like a 19U team almost, because a lot of kids lost their season as I did too,
Mm-hmm.
and we we ended up traveling a lot. Like we traveled out to what's it called? Not Amity, but it's around Amity, and we played a lot of our games out there. And we play out Fitch all the time because it's through DBI.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yeah, I had a great season. I know a lot of my teammates had a very good season too.
So did you play against any? Because I had on a young lady last week for the top performances of the week for the boys and the girls. I had the Hall softball pitcher, and she was playing on a team. If I remember, if I have the right person, I hope I do. She played against like SEC girls, so she was able to know what her stuff was like pretty quickly. As far as okay, if I can get these people out, then my stuff is good enough. And now, obviously, I'm sure you don't know, she's going to Duke, so her stuff is pretty good. So for you, were you playing against maybe not SEC talent, but were you playing against Division One, Division Two, high Division Three kind of talent to kind of gauge where you were as a player at that time?
Yeah, I know we played against a few D2 pitchers and actually a one D1 pitcher. And one of our pitchers for us is D1. His name's Anthony. He's going to Penn State. But we play against a lot of D3 colleges too, because our coach has a lot of connections and he's been very great with helping us improve and playing up because you never want to play down. You always want to get better. And he's been great with that. And that's really helped me improve too, just playing up against talent that I know they're good. I know they're college level athletes and that they want to be there. So just to compare myself against them and see that like how I'm doing it's good. It's nice to see.
Now, were you calling your own game or was the coach calling? Because I know that's a part of catching that has kind of been lost. The only college team that I know that allows their catchers to call games is Georgia Tech. And
Mhm.
they've produced Matt Wieters, Joey Bart, who was drafted by the Giants a couple years ago, Veritek. They know how to produce catchers. But have you been able to call your own game so that way you can learn how to do that? Or is it more so the coach taking the reins right now?
Yeah, during summer and fall, I call my own game. My coaches trust me to be smart with the pitches. And during for NFA, Turgeon and Coach Trubinsky, they call the pitches. It's good either way. I agree with what they're doing because I know like as during summer and fall, I call the game, so I know what a good pitch would be. You got a guy swing at a high fastball, you drop a curve in there, just to mess up his eye level. It's been really helpful to call games and just have a deeper understanding of the game.
Now I've watched some of your videos on Twitter, and a lot of it were swings, but I noticed a couple was your defense. Is
Mm.
that something that you feel like is ahead or behind the bat?
Um, at first, and I do feel like I have very good defense because I feel like a defense is extremely important in our game because without defense, you're not gonna have a good offense or just a good team. But yeah, I do focus on defense, and I feel like it's been it's been more on command for me. Like I've been able to have a lot of really good defensive stops, and my bat has followed, which has been very good because I've been working hard in the winter with a lot of my friends, a lot of my coaches to get my swing better. And I'm right now I'm batting 488, which is which is not bad for not having a junior season. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, how has the catching been defensively? I mean, have you felt like I understand you guys are 8-5, so I know some of the losses, it sucks to lose, but do you feel like as far as because that's I'm a former pitcher, so as for me, and I've said this going back to when I was coaching Legion Ball in Naugatuck, I was a big believer in I don't care what the catcher does offensively. That does very little for me because pitching at the end of the day, if my pitcher is comfortable with throwing to the catcher And I'm talking about runner on third, 2 outs or 1 out or no outs, and you got to bury a slider or you got to throw the hammer, the 12-6er. If my pitcher is not comfortable with the catcher behind the plate, then you can't succeed, because in pressure situations, as we've seen from Yankee games, I know I keep bringing up the Yankees because I'm a Yankee fan. Pitchers are not comfortable throwing Sanchez. They look much better
Mm.
with Higgy. So do you feel like defensively that is a part that has really been better for you this year?
Yes, I feel like it has. And I've worked very hard in building that trust with my pitchers, my pitching staff, because I want them to know that whatever they want to throw, I'll block it if I have to. And I have been, and I've been working hard at just keeping everything in front of me. And they see that, and they do trust me with the game on the line, and I trust them fully.
Now you're going to Avery Point in the fall. Now
Mm.
I had on the head coach, Ian Ratchford, fantastic guy. Loved him. Could talk baseball with him, just like his father. I've had his father on too. I could talk to the both of them for hours. I mean, his father has forgotten more baseball than I could ever know. I mean, I
I
don't
know
know
that.
how familiar you are with the Danbury program, but they started out really bad and they've turned it around. And that just goes to show both he and the staff and what they've done. And his son has done so well with the Westerners, has done well with Avery Point, and et cetera. So when you were looking at possibilities, I mean, was JUCO the option for you fully, or did you kind of dabble to see maybe a college or two? But JUCO, obviously, you decided on being the main place.
Yeah, JUCO actually wasn't where I thought I'd be heading. Because as my father being an Avery Point athlete, I wanted to do something different and kind of like mix it up. But you know, just working hard and looking at schools that I think would be a best fit for me, just academic wise and athletic wise, I just saw Avery Point as above other schools because they do offer so much, and the coaching staff they seem great, and I know a few kids that are in their program right now, and they love it, and they love the coaches, so it just seems like a really good program. I'd love to be a part of it. I'm super excited.
JUCO, I feel like gets a bad rep for a lot of reasons. Some people say it's not baseball. Some people say it's a waste of time because you're kind of wasting your years of eligibility. But the way I can counteract that is, well, you could be one of those players, not you in particular, but just in discussions I've had, where you could go to X school, not like it, then transfer to another school, which is already difficult as is, trying to find another school, not like that. And I can't tell you how many players I know or played with that went to 5 or 6 different schools because they rushed it. They didn't kind of let it, bake. They kind of rushed it very quickly, like in a microwave. So I think for you to take a step back and say, you know what, I think it's good for me. I'm not ready yet to be able to play at a college level just yet. I need more time. I need more reps. You lost time because of the junior year and sophomore year because of the injury. So it doesn't hurt to go to a good program like Avery Point with Coach Ratchford and allow yourself to get better. And then who knows, you could be somewhere a lot better after your second year than you could have been currently right now if you decide to go to college.
Yeah, I agree. And my dad is preached on just JUCO makes you work hard, and you work hard there regardless of the coaching or your teammates. You go there to work hard, and I feel like once I go to Avery Point, and as of now, obviously, I'm just gonna become a better player. I'm gonna be better overall, just because the coaching staffs, they seem great. They seem like they know a lot and they can help me improve my game a lot.
And I'm looking forward to being able to see kind of what you do at Avery Point in the fall. But your senior year is not done yet. You guys are 8-5. How many games do you guys have left as far as the regular season?
Yeah, we have 3 more games left. We have a game Saturday against Montville, and then we have our senior night against Stonington, and then we have our last game against Bacon, which I would love to win because they beat us last time 3-0.
Okay, so and you guys have qualified for states, which is
Mhm.
great. You're in double L. I'm sure you guys haven't really been looking at, and maybe you haven't. I'm wrong, but as far as looking at who you could potentially face, is that something that you're not going to pay attention to until after the last game? Because especially in double L, you get a couple wins that can move you up high. You can stay where you are. Who knows how it could turn out?
Yeah, I know there's some very good teams in Double L, and I haven't looked other than ECC right now because I'm still focused on we got 3 more games left. We got to take those wins, and we have to. And from there we have to move on. We have to keep on winning. And after those 3 games, I will definitely look at more of a broad who we have to face next.
I think it's great for Coach T first year making states. Not bad for the first year head coach, I have to say.
Yeah, he's been great, and he's really helped us improve as a ball team and as people. He's been a great overall person and coach.
Now, one more question for you, and Ryan, thanks so much for being able to come on. I really do appreciate it. Why do you think, and this you can be a little bit cocky, you can be a little bit, self-centered for a second because you deserve it. Why do you think that Coach T said that you are the kind of player to come on here as far as not an underdog, but someone that deserves to get more recognition?
I would say because I push others to work harder than they really should, if that makes sense. I love to focus on the little things in the game and little things that a lot of people don't see. And it's really important to me, and I'm sure Turgeon sees it, just to work hard as a team. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if you put everything you had out there, then there's no regrets. You worked hard, you did everything you could. If you lose, it's part of the game. You know.
Ryan, I wish you nothing but the best of luck the rest of the season and at Avery Point. Stay in touch because I have Coach Rashford's number. I'll be texting him saying, "Hey, how's Ryan doing?" So if you don't stay in touch, I'll make sure I ask him. So, but be
I
well,
appreciate
right?
it. All right, I appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. That wraps things up in the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. And remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm on a journey to find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.